Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this edition of the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast. Excited to have you along for the ride here. This evening should be a good one. It's going to be full, if nothing else. Brian Tompkins back here. For a minute there, it looked like you were going to be running the Derby, but then you got ordered for a double. What all happened there on Saturday?
Well, do you want the truth, or do you want me to make something up?
Whatever's going to make for good TV.
I was talking with a friend
Host of
Friday
Mania's
night,
team show.
and are we going back, starting over
No,
again?
I want you to keep going.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes that happens. I have this turned up.
I was talking with a friend Friday night, and I heard that somebody had built a car, and they were going to come get me. And I'm like, this is the reason why I don't run my hometown, because the drama is just, you know, I'm almost 50 years old. The person that was going to build a car and come get me is even closer to 50 years old. And it's just like, I derby to have fun and, you know, wreck stuff and try to do well. But, so like I said, I was talking with this friend, and I heard that. So Brett had posted a picture, I don't know, a day or two earlier of his car. And so I just borrowed the picture and sent him a message, said, hey, watch this. And it was shortly thereafter I was getting texts and he was getting texts. And I mean, in all reality, if A, I was off, and B, I wanted to run it, Brett would let me run it. You know, he would let me borrow whatever he has. He truly is that good of a guy. But there was, I mean, I had no plans of running. Unfortunately, I think I've ran my last demo at Waterloo. It's just, you know, when I haven't ran there in 2 years counting COVID, and you know,
You were last there in 2017. That was the year that you took all your aggression out on Toby Wise.
whatever. Okay, so it's been 4 years now. You know,
I believe
that's, you know, and I have to be somebody's motivation to build a car and come. It's kind of sad, you know. I would love to still go, but it's just not worth the headache. So.
Sure.
But no, I actually, not long after I made that post, I got a message from my lieutenant that I was going to work a double Saturday, so I didn't even get to go watch. I didn't see anybody go Facebook Live. I know Jamie's had some stuff up on his either Barn Boy or Facebook, or
Barn
his
Boy
Facebook,
and Facebook, yeah.
that some of his stuff. But other than that, I haven't seen much. So
it was a pretty good weekend overall.
yes.
Hey, Tim, it's Chris. Let me put you in here. So trying to get everything going, finding out that some stuff didn't make it to Niagara Falls as planned, so trying to get that stuff straightened out so that we could re-coordinate that. And we had a gentleman ordered some door wraps today and said, can you get them to me real quick, because the Derby is August, whatever it was, 4 days from now. And the address that I got was incorrect. He's moved, so it came up to the zip code was wrong anyway, the way that it was keyed in. So we were able to catch that before it went wrong. So that's always exciting. But yeah, it was a good weekend as a whole. Lots of Derby action going on. Patrick Dulles, hopefully he's doing all right. Patrick actually had some stuff going on with his mouth, not Derby related, if you can imagine that, because he does all his talking with the front bumper anyway.
Yes, he does. At about 40 miles an hour everywhere he goes.
So we've got that going on, getting some fun photos that were sent our way over the course of the weekend from a friend of ours down in Maryland, John Alexander, JYD. He's working on, he keeps telling me it's the bird, but none of the pictures look like anything I've seen before. So let your mind wander as it will, what that means, be it a Thunderbird or whether he's just ready to really stick it to somebody, because, hey, that happens at Derby sometimes.
On occasion.
You just gave the story. We've got the winner of the full-size class at the Seneca County Fair hanging out with us here. We're going to be catching up with him in just a second, James Brown. he's checking in. He's getting ready for Ontario County, which is coming up this week. That's down to that's down to a one-day show this year. The Enduro is going to be in the middle of the week, so James is going to be loaded for bear with a little bit of a different rule combination out there. So we're talking with James, but of course, ahead of all that stuff, today is 727 Day, and we would be remiss to have overlooked 727 Day and the super popular transmission that Rick Engelhart loved, and unfortunately 7 years ago today it was the news of his early passing, which was unfortunate. And I don't know how I didn't put this together, but it is also my grandmother's birthday.
Really?
Yep. Of all this time,
Wow.
She would have been 83. She died. I think it was on St. Patrick's Day in like 97. So it was a little bit ago, but
It's funny. Your grandmother would have been 83, and my dad is 82.
yeah.
Oh goodness,
That's funny.
a little bit of time difference there.
A little bit. Well, we've got Tim MacCheyne hanging out on the line. Tim, man, congratulations on the win. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thank you.
So tell me a little bit about the run. I understand it was no easy task, as typical with Seneca County.
Well, honestly, I just got pure and utter lucky that there were some big boy cars out there that would have ran over top of me, but they got hung up.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So,
I'm not even going to lie there. They would have ran right over top of me, my brother-in-law, but they got hung up on each other, and that saved mine and my brother-in-law's asses. So,
Hey, the important thing is you got the tall trophy and you got the envelope with all the cash, so that's all that really matters.
yeah, me and my brother-in-law did.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the size of the car that matters, though. It's just how you hit them and how you work it. I mean, I was out in the compact and did just fine, just like everybody else. And I'm sure I put some good hits on some big cars.
so James went out there. Go ahead, Tim. Go.
I actually won my heat Wednesday night with a compact, with a
Right.
Chevy Impala. And I mean, it was pure luck. It was just stupid luck. That's honestly what it was.
So what car did you have on? What car did you have on Saturday?
Crown Vic or something.
Saturday I had a
Mercury.
2000 Grand Marquis.
Yeah, Mercury Grand Marquis, yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. And Zach Wessing finished second. He had a Diplomat, so that was good to see. Mopar right there at the end.
Yep.
But
Yeah, he's right here, right next to me, actually.
Oh, Zach's right there. Perfect. So I didn't realize you guys were going to both be on the same hotline. That works out great. So you guys had to battle it out at the end with some of the old iron that had pulled into the pits over there. It seemed like it was going to be some of the days of yore with some pretty intense wagons, some old 60s era Chryslers and stuff, and it's a 2000 Mercury, or excuse me, a 2000 Crown Vic and a Diplomat there at the end. That's a little surprising, I guess.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was definitely it was the luck that we got, the luck of the draw that night. It was definitely interesting.
now it's been a couple days, Tim. Has the happiness and the joy of winning wore off a little bit, and you've been busting on Zach a little bit for you coming in and beating him like that quick and easy, or what?
Actually, no. I actually think Zach should have took the win because he was pounding out there, and my car didn't want to stay running to save its life.
Yeah, it's
And out of all honesty, Zach should have took that trophy because he was hitting and he was fighting, and I literally just got my car running enough times that I could keep on hitting, and that was it.
Hey, as long as you get the checkered, it doesn't matter how it happens, man. That first one is always memorable. Now it's the chase to win the second one, and it only took me about double what it did to win the first one. So hope you have better luck than I did.
Yeah, that was my first B8 ever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
2001 at Seneca County for you, and then 2017.
16 years.
A couple days in between.
And I started in my first derby at Waterloo was July '92, so it was 8 years, probably 16 runs at Waterloo at least, and then it was double that to win the second one. So
Just think about all that money.
oh God, it's funny. We were at my son's graduation party. Jeremy Gully was up and we were talking, and I can't remember how Mark Benjamin was there, and we were talking about cars and this and that. I'm like, how much money would we all have if we still had the New Yorker Brome bumpers that we all threw on junk piles? Because we knew back then 2 hits and the nose would be like this. And I mean, Mark with his mom and dad, I bet you they've probably at least 100 New Yorkers. I'm sure they ran, wrecked, etc. And all those Brome bumpers went on a scrap pile. Never got run. Chrome, shiny, and they'd go on. I mean, they're going for 500 and up nowadays. I know I had probably 6 or 7. Jeremy had a few. It's crazy to look back and think. I remember one year I bought a complete driver, 76 New Yorker from Walt Mitchell, and the only thing that was wrong with it was on the front fender, on the bottom, they used to have turn signals, and they were big lights, and they'd rust out on top of them. And that's the only rust on the entire car, was on both sides of that. And I paid $65 for it.
Yeah. I would pay $6,500 nowadays.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
And that had the bumper on it?
Yes.
Don't let Walt know.
Yeah. It's that one was scrapped. I ran that, and I ran the Newport bumper on the front of that. I took that bumper off, and I'm sure it went in the scrap, but I ran that a couple years. Had a Quadra junk carburetor on it. It was terrible.
Yeah,
I never got
Quadra jets are terrible.
Yeah, we never got it to run right. So I ran it a couple times at Waterloo, and then Dave Harrington took it up to Trumansburg once or twice, and ended up back in a scrap pile.
Yeah, people always ask what I run on the compacts, and I'm not telling everybody. You know, figure it out. Like, I've already told so many people these tricks and stuff, and it's like research and development. Like, you learn something new every year.
And I won't go into what people run, but like from going out west and talking to guys, I'm surprised at like how big of jetting they run in carburetors for compacts and how much fuel those compacts.
I've been anywhere from 52s to 101s.
Yep.
Depending on what I'm running in it and what size and how I plan on running. Depends
it's
a lot
crazy.
On what I do.
It was, I don't know, second or third year that we went to Topeka, and I got talking with some compact guys, and that it was when they were, putting a carburetor on the sixes where it was getting popular. And they were talking about, the CFM and the carburetors they were running and the jets, and I was just like, holy! I'd never thought.
Sportsman motors that don't move that much fuel.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm just like, I can't believe that much fuel runs through those.
Yeah, I'll blow through 5 gallons in 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, but they turn so many R's, and I mean, they're screaming little motor.
There's no rev limiter. There's no temp sensors. They just melt. They just melt down.
Yeah,
I mean,
they just get another one.
Yeah. I mean, I pay $150 for a motor. If I need to buy one, I'll pay $300 for a car. I mean, it's. I had a great time with the V8s out there. I had no problem breaking parts. I mean, my $300 car, your $1,500 car, before you even put any parts into it.
Yeah.
And I just grab and get another one.
It's
I had a blast, and
I was happy with my $400 car.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, that's that's kind of the way I think you're going to see a lot of derbies going. Because the old iron is getting so expensive.
Right.
I mean, you're going to start seeing a lot of Crown Vics, and the chain and bangs, and around here the compacts have obviously really started to pick it up.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a lot of great drivers and builders, and it's kind of what it's kind of what you're seeing everywhere, and especially here because it's you have to pay so much to get old iron, and then you got to haul it in because you're not going to just drive around New York and find old
New
iron
York
anymore.
good stuff. No,
it's. So I mean, and it's going to be, sooner or later, we're going to be 90% Crown Vics, unfortunately, but it's what's going to sustain the sport. I know they didn't get the turnout they were hoping for trucks, but I heard that was an incredible show because it came down to the Wilkins brothers, and we all know how hard those guys will hit each other. So I heard that was a really good show as well.
Which one ended up surviving the longest?
Oh yeah.
I can never tell them apart, so I don't know.
Yeah, I know. One of them went the one, whichever finished second, broke the shifter off, and he got out holding the shifter in his hand, and said, "If this hadn't broke, you'd have got another one." So, but it was.
Yeah, that was their fast trucks, and they were hitting hard.
Yeah,
that was their bash trucks.
Yeah.
There was those two in bash trucks, and then another friend of theirs was in a F-350 Econoline van.
Yep, and then Nate White.
Yeah,
and then junk 2500 should have never been on the track.
Yeah.
Knew he was going to get hurt truck. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I heard. That's what my kid was telling me. He was like, Dad, there was a truck that was pretty stock, but they're like, he was into it. He was, ready for it. But I guess when it came down to the Wilkins, they put, which they normally do, they put on quite the show.
They were full tracking it. Full, wide open, the best they could. It was a good show, and they always put on a good show.
Yeah, they do. Definitely. But no, it was I've heard a lot of good things. The stands were full.
Overfull, sold out.
Yeah, good car turnout. I wouldn't be surprised to see see a few changes. I think you'll see the old iron going. In my humble opinion, I think you'll see old iron going into one and done. And I think you'll see more compacts, more stock stuff. Because that's just, in my humble opinion, unfortunately, we don't have the old iron around anymore. And,
we don't.
We don't.
Here.
No.
Not up here. Old iron. But the thing is everybody that's used to driving Avalons thinks that a Diplomat is classified as old iron.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If you talk to the right people, the Diplomats are definitely old iron. But
Tim and Zach are still hanging out with us. Tim got the win in the full size. Zach taking second place. Tim winning in a 2000 Ford product, and then Zach taking second place in a Diplomat. You can hear them whispering every now and again in the background. I'm sure you guys got some thoughts on some of the topics that have been bouncing around. What direction did you want to jump into first?
Excuse me. Whoa.
I don't care. Anything.
Well, you guys had some thoughts. I heard you trying to pop in. You were talking about the old iron going to a one and done and some changes.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't have the capabilities to try to build the cars, and it's a lot easier for the chain and bang people in the stock shows.
Yep.
I mean, I've seen that a lot this year, is that there was a lot of chain and bang people. They just didn't, and we dealt with a lot of people where they weren't sure how to build, and half of them don't know how to weld and stuff like that. So it's like, well, it's a lot. It's definitely going to go more towards stock shows and one and dones and stuff like that than anything. I can see that.
And when you compare that against Lewis County with 100 plus cars or 150 cars or whatever the final number was, which was Spinning Wheels show, which was in the same time frame, their whole program was one and dones.
Yes.
The whole thing.
11 separate
They had
heats.
2 shows. They had one in the afternoon and one at 6, the same way that Morris used to do with their 2-day programs.
Yep.
And they drew cars like crazy because all the pressure was off.
Yeah.
The only thing you might have to bring is torches.
Yep.
Well, I think a lot of it had to do with the rule set too. Spinning Wheels is on top of making it fair for everybody. I mean, they don't let anything through that the next person doesn't have. They're one of the best shows out there. I wish I could run more of their shows, but I haven't gone to the dark side yet. When I start running them Camrys, I'll be more than happy to run them shows, but they're not. The rule set's not built around running Luminas. I mean, there's 2 things you got to do to a Lumina to make them compatible, and if they don't allow you to do that, they're scrap iron.
Hey, we saw Lumina win Bash for Cash this year.
Yeah, I watched them bag for cash. Yeah.
But when it came down to the end, they started hitting that. The nose of that thing was impressive. It was bending them AMCs. That was.
Well, I mean, a neon will bend any car if you hit it right. I mean, any car will. You say that, but on them compacts. I mean, I don't want to say too much, but I'm sure I could bend in front of a Cadillac.
You just have to stuff the frame, right?
You don't. Yeah, I'll be posting that video of my unstuffed live video frames of mine because nobody can figure out how they've been at the firewall. But it's just a lot of research and development and experience. I mean,
how many Luminas have you had to wreck in order to get one to finally bend the way that you want to?
Oh, I think the first one that bent right was at the team show. When I first met Lee Sager and nose right at the firewall. I mean, I was probably only about 10 in or so.
Yeah.
But I mean, even now we just learned a bunch after this past weekend too. So I mean, it's.
Yeah, the one you ran Wednesday night bent. I thought that bent pretty nice.
Yeah. They had a cradle in it though.
Yeah.
I mean, so I was expected to. And if I only had half of the lower cradle in it, if I had the other half of the lower cradle, it would have been better. And if the motor wasn't blown up before I brought it out there, it probably would have helped. It was leaking out of every pore, and it was dry. It was dry blocked. I had no water in it. Everybody was scared, thought I was running on methanol. I said, I'm not running on methanol till next year. You got to give me another year. I got to get this taken care of first.
Spare time.
One thing at a time,
That's funny.
So you guys going to be running this week? Go ahead.
The heat Wednesday night was definitely interesting.
Yeah, I sure wish that that motor ran, but I mean it was leaking out of every. I mean I probably shouldn't even have put oil in it and just ran out there and ran. It was leaking out of every crevice. No power steering. Everything was terrible. But that car was hard though. I know Ian Doyle came up to me and says, "You should have never bent my wagon like that." I says, "R&D, buddy, R&D. A lot of research and development."
Yep.
The show as a whole, some of the other winners from the course of the weekend, Guy Raymond winning the first standalone 6-cylinder only one and done.
They ran one. The first one was the last one they ran a year ago. Because I think Donnie had talked to Kyle about that class, and they did a six-cylinder chain and bang. The last one they had.
Wednesday?
Yeah, I don't remember going stock 6. I think this was the first year they did it.
I thought they'd have done Saturday the first night.
I know we had a chain class on Wednesday back in 2019. Caleb Peterman won that. Tim Ellison was the double up. He won the stock Saturday and 4-cylinder back in 2019.
Yep.
But Guy Raymond, I believe, the 6-cylinder, we'll get the details finalized on that. Got the 6-cylinder win. Rich forever will be a mystery for second place or for the win in the 4-cylinders. Tim Patchen winning the figure 8 race. Zach Herman, what a run. There was nobody in the county happier than Zach Herman when he got that win. And he ended up stopping by for the RC Derby on Thursday, and he was still beaming. He was pretty happy about that. I understand there was a junk run on Saturday. That result hasn't come in yet. And then also, like we said, the full-size trucks, one of the Wilkins winning that, but I'm not 100% sure who. Their Facebook pages are very, very private, just like those guys are. There's not a lot of pictures about that kind of stuff.
Chuck Bowman ran for his 31st consecutive year.
Is that right?
Yeah.
31 years?
Yeah, he took a Buick Rendezvous down that he built the day of. You know Chuck.
I do know Chuck.
Good old Chuck Bowman.
Yep, that's Chuck.
Good old hammer.
Smashed his way to Valhalla. The compacts doing battle against the V8s, we've seen them have success.
Oh, yeah.
Lee Sager and Marty, when they did the two-man show over at, was that San Filippo that they did that?
Yeah, it was the one in Morris.
Yeah.
Don Morris, yeah.
They did that, Jerry Ott.
That's what I was thinking. What do you win?
Hemlock everywhere he
Yeah,
runs.
Penyan 2 years in a row, I think, the full-size V8.
Jerry Ott won the Cuca Clash.
Yeah.
And
then I think he won the fair show that same week. Because the Cuca Clash was standalone, and then there was... Yeah. I think he won it the same week or he won it the year after with a V8 or a V6.
Remember when you brought that smash top Roadmaster? That thing was nasty.
Yeah, Jerry's good.
He's got him figured out. You know, to build in your basement and this little tiny space, he got him figured out. Like, and he knows his stuff. I mean, he's got the experience for sure.
Yep.
Are you guys planning on running any place else through the course of the summer? Zach, Tim?
I'm thinking about going to Canandaigua Wednesday night, or Saturday night. I got a hold of Cal Wilkins this morning, and we talked a little bit, and we're trying to get some guys together for Saturday for Canandaigua.
Cool.
Gotcha. Are they same cars? Do you bring different stuff?
If we do go, it'll probably be the same cars.
Yeah. You got lower cradles in those?
Nope. No lower cradle, nothing.
Run them.
Patch them up and go.
Yeah, you're allowed four 4-inch fix-it plates, lower cradle, allowed all sorts of stuff in it.
There you go. Get the welder out.
Yeah.
Get after it.
Yeah, I'm cheap.
Oh man, I got a scrapyard in my backyard. That's why I don't have to go anywhere. Every part I need, everybody calls me. You got some luminous struts? Nah, I'm sorry, they're like gold. I'm not selling any. I probably got 50, but I ain't selling any of them.
Oh yeah.
You got to keep that stockpile for you.
Right. They're like, you got some bumpers? I got pre-rans, but I ain't selling any fresh ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe that 70s Ford Pointy I ran on Wednesday. I mean, I inverted it in half. I couldn't believe it.
Nice. That's a pretty hard hit.
Which time?
Whichever one did the damage.
The The bumpers can be a little bit more built over at Ontario County, though, right? You're not going to be inverted.
Yeah.
There?
I'll still be inverted. Yeah, I'm running an '80s Crown Vic on it on the front of mine. I honestly, for Waterloo, I wanted to put a New Yorker on the front, but I mean it is a little too much, a lot of it too much for those compacts. But with the big cars, you got to have a point. You got to be able to get in those tires. I mean, a flat bumper is not going to do it on those cars. They're too hard. So.
Right.
Yep.
But with that little bit of point, I mean, I know I broke a few parts on Wednesday. I mean, I was happy.
Yeah, I did. I broke a couple myself.
Yeah.
I had an '80s GM Grand Prix front bumper on my car, and that thing held solid as hell.
Yeah, I think that's the one that somebody was talking about trying to buy. Or was it Grand Prix or Granville?
The Grand Prix.
Grand Prix. I know on Saturday, Guy Raymond was trying to buy somebody's bumper off the front of their car. He's like, "Those are my favorite bumpers. I want that."
Yeah, but I mean, that Grand Prix bumper, I cut it off my compact because my compact was shot, and it's still golden. I can weld it right back to anything I want to weld it to.
Perfect.
That's all right. Yeah.
Never thought I'd hear the day where there was the money fight over an '80s Grand Prix bumper.
It's
But
great, though,
how
man.
many times have we said we just haven't found the next trick stuff yet?
Yeah, we haven't found the next Imperial yet, but they're finding them now.
Oh yeah. The new Imperials are them luminous.
I don't know. I would take that. And then the new round back wagons or the minivans, because those things will back up until you're at the driver's seat and just keep going. But they figure it out, that's for sure. They all got more energy than me, that's for sure. More power to them.
I hear you. I got my crew at home right now finishing up while I'm sitting here, and then home another 3-4 hours and 3 hours of sleep and then back to work.
That's what I said when I walked in. I said, man, I can't believe you got out of work in time to come here. Usually, you're at the restaurant till...
I left work and came right straight here, That's
usually you're at work till
6 to 6.
Hours.
6 to 6, 7 days a week. I've had 5 days off since 2019.
How's that new ice machine doing?
It's a beast.
Yeah.
It's a beast.
It looked like you stole out of a hotel.
Yeah, it was like a car payment to buy the thing, a car loan to buy the thing. But it needed it, and I mean, it'll pay for itself 6 times over this year alone.
Did you have to get any ice out of it Sunday morning to put on yourself, or weren't you sore?
Oh no! I wear a 4-point harness, So
okay.
Yeah, I wear a harness, I'm they call it my female pad on the side, and I'm all padded in. They call me Mr. Bubble Wrap, and I don't care.
As I've gotten older, I've learned to pad a lot more stuff in those cars because that shit hurts.
Yeah,
but
it's not the day after. It's 2 days after when your adrenaline stops. And
especially with those compacts, because you guys just hit so hard.
They hit way harder than the big cars.
Oh, yeah. That's
People
insane.
that never ran a compact have no idea what it's like to be in a compact.
I love watching them, but I've said a million times I wouldn't want to be in one.
You feel the hits in a compact so much more. I don't know. Junk run's pretty bad.
Yeah, junk run's hard too.
Yeah, I've never ran one, but I want to.
I never took any big shots in the junk run though. I ran it I think 3 times, 4
Do you
times.
remember what your Jeep looked like?
No, that was the Blazer. The Jeep was fine. The front end got flat on that. The Blazer's the one that I should have got best of show and didn't. I shrunk it about 2 foot on each end. That was the night that Jake got the rear end tore out of his Jeep Grand Cherokee, the newer style Jeep Grand Cherokee.
The Ranger, we don't even like to talk about that.
Yeah, no, that was bad.
That was a death trap.
I guess 3 times
Why would you drive a Ranger?
Because it was free.
Free? I don't care if it's free or not.
It was free. It was actually kind of tough. It just something caught on fire.
And then you realized that you walked it out there like Fred Flintstone and had to find a way to exit something like that.
Right.
I got out that little side window. I went through the front.
Did you have to pound the side down halfway to get out?
No, it's amazing what fear will do to you. Everybody thinks that adrenaline is a good rush. Fear is even better, man. That'll make you go do stuff you never thought you could. Believe me.
I hear you. I dove out of a 2nd-story window head first one time out of fear, and let me tell you, it didn't feel good, but I got away.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
Josh has a story about running at Bird Island when that
that
he had
and he had to step in the fire to get out.
He said, "I got a choice." And the only choice that I have is to burn up or to put my hands in this fire. And I looked out as I put my hands in the fire, and as I got up, my pants were on fire.
Bird Island. Yeah, that was in some of the Minnesota cars that don't bend.
Yeah, Jesse Keel was involved with that project.
Yeah.
It was fairly hard.
Yeah. It was like the wagon that Jesse Keel brought to the first Coos show. Him and Bandow brought 2 cars down and had silly things take both of them out. That they were nasty cars.
Scott Kiefer won a box Ford wagon.
Where?
I don't. Must have been a ice cream sale on the Facebook of some sort. You know.
Huh. Good for him.
That's kind of cool.
I was surprised to see Ian had a smash top Crown Vic or whatever they call them Ford wagon. I didn't know he had one of those. It looked pretty tough.
They've been running that for a while. I'm pretty sure the Doyles have.
Yeah.
He told me it should have never bent.
Well, I mean, sometimes Jake does a little extra here and there,
Well,
but
who doesn't? I mean,
But
I
he
know
said it
it's too much work.
shouldn't. He said it shouldn't have been. But
it did. I think one shot in the rear, or I hit him with the rear, and it started to move, and then nose to nose it went up, and I just so wish my car ran good on Wednesday. It would have been a hell of a showing, but I think we got that problem figured out, and I got sent a new intake out to Iowa tomorrow to have done. Drew Hall is going to take care of me, and we got some new stuff coming for next year. So
sounds like you're going to continue derby, and you haven't given up that bad habit yet.
I'm not retired yet. I'm a little retarded, but I'm not retired. But I am slowing down. I'm only going to run probably like two or three next year, and then start slowing down a little bit. I just don't have the time.
No.
The amount of hours I put in every day, and I mean, it's not about the money. I could pay 50 people to build the cars, but I want to be there. Yeah. I want to put my hands in it, and I don't know everything because I'm on my ADD. I'm here, there, I'm everywhere. I don't know. I'm off talking on the phone here. I'm doing this and that, and it's like everyone's like, "Well, I'm going home because you're not doing anything," and then I'm stuck till 3 a.m. by myself. But I get the most work done by myself.
Yep.
But I mean, my crew is absolutely amazing. I mean, without them, I wouldn't be anywhere.
That wagon was the Eric Remington project.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, yes, it is where I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I thought I saw one. Cool. Uh-huh. Cool.
So, pretty confident Steve Lane is now searching frantically for Scott Kiefer's phone number.
Yeah, he does all right with those wagons. Yeah, I wish his son hadn't got that wheel broke off so early in the youth show. Because he was making some hits, and then he took that one. It didn't even look like a terrible shot, but it broke that left rear tire off.
Took it off.
I think that wagon would have been nasty.
Would have been a fun one, for sure. Well, just to kind of recap things, Kylie Gully, she picked up some Mad Dog honors.
Her first Mad Dog.
Yep. So that was that's kind
chip
of
off the old block.
In your blood kind of things.
Yep.
Spencer Jumper. I don't know if you remember Spencer. Drove number 43. We saw him in Pennsylvania a whole bunch of times when I was looking for repair parts for my 2000 Lincoln. He said, "Come down and get whatever you need." Then the deer took care of it from there, so it really didn't matter. but it was good to see Spencer get the win. Patrick Dulles, as we said, he got a win down there in Lowville as well. Corey Herzog, Allegheny County, picked up a victory there. And I don't know, real quick, just to pull a quick side note to circle it back to Seneca County before we shift gears. We got to catch up with Dustin Newgent here in a minute as well. Jared Brown was just sharing a couple thoughts with me. Give me a little bit more detail on what you're talking about, if that was Bird Island or not. But Tim Ellison and his boy Jet worked together on a great tribute to Geo Bourne, and Geo Bourne was on a bunch of the cars. And before that got shared, Alan was cruising around Lafayette and was on his way home by the railroad tracks, by the old Borden plant, when some of the cars were starting to head up, and he saw the Geo on the side of the car. So he took a detour to check out the cars, and all of a sudden I was 10 years old again, hearing the story about riding up and down the street trying to check out where the cars were, and he was really, really stoked to see Geo was on a bunch of the cars that came out of the Ellison camp. Tim and Jesse have shared the tribute and some quality life advice to anybody. If you want to take a minute to check that out on their Facebook page, it was an outstanding tribute to Geo, and some very kind words from Jet. So that was pretty good to see.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that.
Is that nice, Egg? Are they shutting your power off again?
No, my dad called me. He forgot to show us tonight instead of last night. Yeah, I wanted to touch on that. I heard Zach said they did a very nice presentation and stuff. So, yeah, that was cool. But I do remember, I do know what you mean. I didn't ride bikes up and down the road looking at cars, but I remember driving by and being like, wow, look at all that.
I know I sure did. That was the best thing, going there Sunday when all those cars were still out in the field out there and checking them out.
Yep. I do
Seeing
remember
what kind of speakers were still sitting in there. What ones can I find out for my garage? Stuff like that. Like, it was awesome. I mean, I grew up right next to it. So, I mean, that was our thing.
It was
Derby night. They were lined all the way up and around down the street, down Swift Street. And I was like, that was the best. And they were lined all the way around the track. 300 cars. What I mean, looked like 300 to me as a kid. But, I mean, back then it might even have been. Who knows?
We used to, I think 125 was the most that I personally remember there when I was running.
That was a busy night.
And I mean, we'd derby till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, those were the days.
I used to love watching
25 car heats. You know, it's funny. Like, you know, I was talking to Zach. He came home Wednesday night. We were talking, and I started telling him about, you know, the old days, because that's what old people do. And I was like, yeah, I said, the first heat I was in at Waterloo, there was 25 cars, and they took the last car running and best of show. And the best of show car, there was never anything left of it. It was junk. So then they'd have, you know, and there was usually 4 heats, and there'd be 2 consies with like 30 cars a piece in them, and we just used to this. And I mean, like, you know, and I know you have some of the older tapes, and I do as well, but you go back there and look, and I mean, it's Chrysler wagon, Chevy wagon, Chrysler New Yorker, and just the ire that was there. And it was, you know, we didn't know any different back then. They were just normal because we saw them every year, you know. And it was, and like, just, if, you know, like, you know, Jamie mentioned earlier, the money. I mean, you know, you look at those heats, and I mean, 25 cars, and 10 of them are Chevy wagons. There's 35 grand just in Chevy wagons. You know, there's 3,500 is a going price for a Chevy wagon nowadays.
Back then, you're getting them for $100.
If that. I mean, it's crazy. So, but yeah, it was neat. It was you know, a little nostalgic and
to put a cap on it, we hear the stories about scrapping Chevy wagons because they needed plug wires.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Those days have since passed.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I remember I would ride around there. I had the paper route, and I would ride my bike up by the fairgrounds and figure out what cars were where from after the paper route that should have been there, or who wasn't in line, or what they had, and stuff like that, so that, you know, in my mind I could keep track of it in the grandstands. And then I got to the point where I had to get my car there early, be at the gate, and I got to do the same thing, only they were coming to me. I didn't have to go find them.
Mm-hmm. You know, I can remember, like, I remember the first time I drove to the Derby at Waterloo. Just drove myself. I was 16, or no, I'm 7. I turned 17, and our neighbor, he let like 3 of his buddies build cars. So I towed one down with a chain, and it was the coolest thing in the world to be towing a car into Waterloo. Like, it was, you know, just so amazing. And you know, that's what hometown derbying's about. It's that feeling. So
there was a few guys that drove them right there and stripped them right at the track and ran them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I couldn't. I guess you can call me extra. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I got to take all the wires and do. Even on the stock cars, I got to move everything because it's always one wire. It's one stupid thing that takes you out. It's not.
Yeah.
Oh, you got junked. It's I blew a fuse or I popped a tire because I didn't double them or tube them or something stupid. You know, it's always something.
It's the little things.
It's always the
little things.
And that's why I'm always done ahead of time, because you got to make sure you button up those little things. You know, if you got fuses, hardwire them. You know, melt that computer right down. I mean, what's the difference? It's going to be junk afterwards anyways.
That's true.
Yep, sir.
Well, it's the attention to detail. You know, James made a joke about winning it in the basement. It's going over things and checking things and doing your research and knowing your stuff so that those little things don't come up and bite you. And you guys outlasted the little things, got a little lucky, and took home first and second there in the full-size class. And congratulations to you guys for pulling that down, James. Hopefully we have a similar conversation next week after Saturday.
I don't know. They call me the Canandaigua Cheater, so I am the 2019 champ there. So I'm sure I'll have all eyes on me coming after me anyway. So, I mean, I'm bringing a knife to a gunfight, but like I always say, I ain't there for a long time. I'm there for a good time.
There you have it right there.
Yes,
We're gonna be shifting gears here in just a second and catching up with Dustin Newgent to talk a little bit about what he's got going on. But ahead of that, we've got some things that we need to 10-2 here. First and foremost, we need to tell you a little bit about Blizzard Bash, which is.
Did you see they redid the front of that? They redid the front of the Stormont Vale Event Center.
Yeah, they were working on that
2 years ago,
March 2020. Yeah, they had a lot of work.
It's done now. Like the outside is done, the new facade.
Stormont Vale Event Center in Topeka, Kansas is the home of Blizzard Bash 2.0. It's the reboot, November 11th through the 14th. National qualifying team inspections are November 9th. That starts on Tuesday. Additional details are still to follow. There's been a lot of information changing hands about this, about what's going to happen, masking protocols, if it's still going to actually occur with the Delta variant stuff. Right now, everything is on as planned, and all divisions are full. The deadline for refunds has passed. Additional details for Blizzard Bash 2021 will be online at blizzardbash.com. Chris Polly checking in. Scott Kiefer, he's heading to the Troy Derby. That's going to be Friday and Saturday this week. Looking forward to that. The battle for Upper Co was over the weekend. I haven't heard anything from TJ McCulloch. They're getting ready for the demise at Upper Co, October the 9th. Superstock full-size, dead stock full-size, stock compacts, dead man compacts, minivan, SUV, Power Wheels, and racing, all on the card for October the 9th. The demise at Upper Co. Pits open at 8, spectator gates at 11, racing at 1. Adults are $15. That's 16020 Carnival Avenue in Upper Co, Maryland. Smash It Demolition Derbies, their schedule is shaping up to be pretty busy. They've got a derby tonight at the Claremont Fair. I don't know if you saw Tim Jr. was back at the office, got to drive a school bus. That was kind of fun. Shelby County Fair is on the 31st, and then we change gears to the month of August where things get real busy. Greene County Fair is going to kick things off on the 2nd. August 5th is the I-75 points at the Auglaize County Fair in Wapakoneta. August 6th and 7th is the Pike County Fair. The whole schedule is online under events at smashitderby.com. The Unified Point Series was in action over the weekend as well. Rutz Fabrication is hosting the Butler County Fair. Their second night of action is going to be July the 30th, and the 31st and August the 7th is Smash It's Preble County Fair in Eaton, Ohio. August the 6th is Hardcore's Destruction in Dunbar, Pennsylvania. August 14th is Hardcore's Washington Warzone. The same night, TNT's Branch County Fairs in Coldwater, Michigan. And that kicks off the Michigan Swing with a series of 4 Michigan Derbies over the course of 2 weeks up there. Steven Sickles currently leading with 100 points. Don Santel still sitting in second with 40. TJ McCulloch jumping up to third place in a tie with Jordan Rutherford, 36 points apiece, and Mason Stacy with 34 points sitting fourth. That is one of the youth drivers. Additional details online, 527unifiedseries.com. We saw a lot of these parts in action through the course of the weekend. Jeffy's Fab Farm, recognized as an industry leader in all manner of purpose-built demolition derby parts, starting with rear ends in 06. Jeffy's Fab Farm, they expanded to the headers in 08. The shop can boast a combined 70-plus years of mechanical skill. Jeffy's Fab Farm specializes in knowledge conversions and conversion components. With consistent feature wins across North America, your turnkey solution is only a phone call away. Jeffy's Fab Farm, the Cannery in a Box campaign sets you up for success at a retail price of $525. Make sure you jump online. You can find fuel and air parts, suspension and transmission items, steering components, pedals. If you need it, it's on the farm, jeffhughesfabfarm.com. And then rounding things out, Smith Metalworks is an all-purpose fab shop that has taken the Northeast by storm. Smith Metalworks is a prominent player in all the action with Hardcore Demolition Derby and the Hardcore Series. I saw Pete Hansen posting about the 15,000 to win fall show that's in Dunbar, so we got to get Frankie on to get some more details.
It's a Heat at Frankie show.
There you go. So
they replaced the 10,000 to win heat that Frankie was going to have, I believe.
Right on. Gotcha.
And
there were some rumblings of that happening, so there's the confirmation right there. Smith Metalworks, the hallmark of their product line is the pointed and flat front bumpers, replicating popular factory releases. They can be run hollow, run stuffed, like James Frames. There's also a compact version of the pointed bumper. Other items include Crown Vic door skins, battery boxes, engine systems, pedal combos, and shifters. They have all sorts of odds and ends. They have in-person locations for pickup in Mercer, Uniontown, and Bethlehem, or they can ship it to your door online at smithmetalworks.info. Experience and passion, second to none. So with that, the so to say, the homecoming show, the period is on that one. We appreciate you guys. Again, congratulations on the win over there at your hometown fair, and hopefully you guys can find some success at Ontario County Fair this weekend over at Land of Legends.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you making some time and coming on the show for us.
Have a good night, guys.
We'll see you later.
Thanks, bud.
Good luck, man.
See ya.
Later, bud. See ya.
Tim and Zach, and 5,000 to win Owenton, Kentucky, September 11th, big car. Mad Dog's paying $1,300. Greg Estes sharing some information on that. Jared Brown, I'm not 100% sure what he's trying to tell me. He's got all sorts of stuff going on, and There's 70s Impalas and 70s Mopars pretty frequently. I'm not sure if he's talking about Bird Island. There's a 70s DeVille that he's talking about, but I don't know if he's talking about in the past or if there's something upcoming. Stop being so cryptic. Make me confused. So, I think it's funny that Guy Raymond unfortunately was in Waterloo, and we missed the opportunity to see him in person again. I haven't seen him in a long time, but he always talks about, if you have compact conversation, ring me up. Well, we're changing gears a little bit for a different type of compact conversation here. Dustin, you there? So remember in our various trips out to Bash for Cash, we met up with that fella that really thought it was cool to run Volvos.
Yep.
And he did okay with them.
Yep.
Dustin now has 2 wins in as many weeks with a Volvo 740.
It's a matter of 2 weeks. I have 2 wins.
2.
Train's coming through.
Right
on time.
Man, it's it's right on time, I suppose. It's one way of looking at it. But help me out here again one more time. You were saying
It was actually 2 wins in a matter of 2 weeks.
Yep. So tell me a little bit about the Volvo. It's not something that you see at every derby out there. We've seen Tommy Woodbury mess around with the wagons a couple times up in Massachusetts and Vermont, in his home area. They stand to do well. I remember a guy had to run the junk run with a Volvo at Waterloo one time. They wouldn't let him run the compact because it had the 5-cylinder engine.
Yeah.
Oh, that, and they got those aluminum front bumpers on them that are nasty. And I bought a bunch of them, and every time I try to run one, they won't let me run it. Oh, I cheated up. Well, yeah, they don't bend. They're harder. No, I mean, that's what do you expect?
There was a guy that used to run Volvos all the time in Owego too. I mean, year after year after year. But he never had. I'll give him credit. He tried, but it was always something small seemed to get him. But
it's the small things. I think we've heard that.
Yeah, we've heard that a couple times.
Yeah, it's usually, especially with them, it's like the Cadillacs or any of those BMWs. It's all fuses. There's too many electronics with them. I mean, that's why I do the carb, because I run on 6 wires. Nothing can happen until you melt them down.
Right.
And they always restart, except for Wednesday. But I mean, dry blocked for 17 minutes with no water. I mean, you expect it not to. But I got it home, started right up, drives fine. Same with my Saturday car, still runs and drives.
You should drive it out front and plant flowers in it. That's what you should do with that one.
Well, at my yard, I had the one I won BMP with, was at my house all during COVID, right in the front yard, sitting there. I had a license plate sitting right on. I played all my Derby cars before and after the Derby. That way, there's no problems.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm 100% legal. They're all registered, I guess you could say.
So to say. Dustin, where's your Volvo now?
It's actually sitting in the backyard.
It's in the backyard. You didn't park it out front. Not tempting fate with the neighbors.
Do you already have 3 cars sitting in the driveway?
Okay. All right. So I guess there's no room for it. I suppose. I mean, what were your expectations when you started building the Volvo? I mean, it doesn't strike me as one of those sexy cars. You know, you hear about the Avalons and the Camrys, and some people say Neons can beat anything on the planet, and you got the Luminas and stuff. So, like, the Volvo spit off the beaten path.
And I came across it. I was doing a side job and came across it. They were sitting rockers all the way down to the dirt. And I couldn't complain because the guy told me $300. It wasn't running, had a title, you go off the keys. What do you do? I just figured out the wiring after I put it in the backyard for a couple of months, and I was like, you know what? I guess it's time to try it. And I'm very impressed with it.
What's the trickiest part to figure out in a Volvo?
In all honesty, I didn't really have any problems with figuring anything out on it.
A little bit of work that you did to it. I saw you got the back end to roll pretty nicely. Was that?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I had to do a little bit of TLC after the first run, but
Chuck Bowling had a Volvo he was going to run once too, and I think the motor went in it before he could run it. or I would have been stress tested for sure.
I think he did run that one.
Did he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure I bought the front bumper off of it.
Did you?
I
knew he had one. I knew
so.
somebody around here had run one once.
Yeah,
I
it was
couldn't remember.
17, 18, 19. I'm pretty sure he ran it.
Yeah.
Dustin, you're from out there in Indiana. What were the two fairs, or what were the two shows that you ran this at?
LaPorte County Fair and then a Porter County Fair, which one's just in LaPorte County and the other one's in Valparaiso.
Right on. So, going in, did you have any predetermined expectations? I mean, we always talk about how if you're not going out there with the intention of winning, then you probably shouldn't go out there. But at the same time, you know, if it's the first time through with the car, you might meet your expectations a little bit. What were you expecting out of this car?
Honestly, the first round, I wasn't expecting to do anything because it was my old lady's first derby. She was out there too, so I was like, well, it's going to be one of those times. She's going to get hit wrong, and then I'm just going to be on that person. But I didn't see her the whole time until like the end. I was like, okay. So I just kept on going around my about my business and was just driving my own derby. Then I got yelled at for sandbagging. But after that, I just started hitting harder, and they took every bit of it. And then the second fair that I ran, there was only 7 cars altogether, counting me. And I planned on using the nose pretty much the whole time, and I turned the Honda into a smart car in 2 hits. I was very, very impressed.
That's terrific.
That's why you know you're doing it right.
Hold the 20 on the front of it perfectly, and I could not complain at all. That's a whole lot of leverage on the front of a mini car.
So is this going to become a car that you successfully get outlawed now because you were successful with it in your home area, or is this going to be something that everybody else starts to buy into?
Well, past 2 shows I took it to, I have almost been loaded both times, so...
Wow.
All because I took the stock bumper shocks, and I actually added 4 inches to the front of them and stuck them in the frame, welded to a plate. Well, they're just free floating in the back, so of course it's going to bend right behind the shock, and there's this little pilot hole. You can see where the shock ends, but
Just change your
other than that, nothing done to it.
Interesting. So I guess maybe it was the extra cylinder for the 4-cylinder class wasn't the issue.
It's always the engineering.
Well, I actually had the 4-cylinder.
Oh, you
I
did?
actually had the 4-cylinder 2.3
Okay.
Volvo motor, and I'm actually very impressed with it. This last show, I actually had a whole lot of fits with it to get it running right. Got it running right, loaded on the trailer, went to the show, went to go unload it off the trailer and go through tech, and I couldn't keep it running. I had to keep starting to go into tech. I actually had the whole top end pulled apart and everything in the pit after tech, and come to find out it was just a massive airflow. I didn't even pay attention that it was old enough. I was like, yeah, it should have one. But it didn't have one, so I unplugged it, and it started running perfectly fine. I just said, turn the light up, and...
Huh.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to running my 2.5s next year.
You got a pile of 2.5s?
Oh, yeah, I got 3 Iron Dukes sitting there at the house, and I hate running EFI. That's why I'm sending that intake out to Iowa, and Drew Hall, HCM, is going to build me up a Iron Duke intake. That's all I run is HCM intakes. I have 4 of them I run now. So, you know, I've seen Gray Area, I've seen Baldwin, I've seen all these different ones, and I don't know. I've tried a few. I've had friends try a few. All I've ever ran, for the most part, has been HCM and Gray Area and HCM all the way. Drew Hall's got him figured out. He's one of the first people doing it. A lot of his parts have been remanufactured and mass-produced, and he's got the passion. You know, I think that's what it takes, is the love that you put into it. I mean, it's not just cutting down an intake and putting a plate on it and running a carburetor. There's a lot more to it than that. And these people nowadays just think you're buying a Camry in a box from Jeffy when you're building alumina, and it's not like that. They're finicky. Every motor's different. Every intake's different.
Yeah, it's definitely the guys that put passion into their products that you see being successful without a doubt at any level.
Well, it's like Justin Eldridge in the race cars this year, finding out that they're one in the garage and not one on Facebook or anywhere else. I mean, you got to put the time in and you got to do it.
Yep. Yeah, he'll be the first one to tell you that. He's definitely buckled down and really working on stuff a lot more. And it's true. It doesn't matter if it's a motorsport. It's one in the garage. That's without doubt.
For sure. Well, with all the success that you've got with the Volvo, have you gotten a hold of Jesse Myers at RDP? I know you guys you're pretty active and close with them. Is the Volvo going to be the new car that's released?
No. I ain't gonna bug him about
it. He wants to keep the secret. He doesn't want anybody else knowing about it.
Right?
It's so hard to come by up here. It's ridiculous.
But he just keeps selling everybody their junk, so they sell them cheaper and cheaper. So.
Right on. That's not a bad strategy. Is that car going to get run again?
It actually will, but I'm going to have to do a lot of love to the back of it and the front. Because I did bend it pretty good this last one.
Right. Sort of a curl I saw. Well, hopefully
that... It did a little more than curl. They pushed in straight in on the driver's side and the back, so I had to get it pulled back out. And
it's fine. Little massage. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A couple hours worth of work and some beers and stuff.
Beyond the Volvo, where else are you going to be running this year?
I actually signed up for MacCheyne last night for the street stock class, so
excellent.
We're going to see how that goes.
Cool. Fantastic. Well,
and of course, Turkey Derby, the notorious Aspen that everybody wants to see, will be there.
Excellent. Be looking forward to that. In the outside of the Derby world, how'd you make out with your truck today?
Never even touched it. I loaded on the trailer, brought it home, and just went to my grandpa's and got his truck, just some spark plugs in it, because it's been sitting for almost 3 years now, ever since he got hurt and has been in a wheelchair. So, and it had the same plugs in it from factory, and it had 200,000 on it, so it was past due.
Whoa. Huh.
Yeah, so that took me a couple hours because I had a couple that didn't want to come out. One's still stuck in, so
I see.
Yeah, I'll be doing that this weekend for my truck.
Well, I hope everything goes smooth for you and you can get all the road vehicles straightened back out and settled down. And look forward to hearing how everything goes over there at Mayhem. We'll be looking forward to hearing some details on the Aspen.
Yep. I mean, I might end up getting a spark up my butt and getting the Volvo back together for not this weekend, but next weekend for a 2-day fair derby.
Excellent. Well, hopefully you go 3 for 3, man. I appreciate you making some time for us. I hope so. Congratulations again. Appreciate you making some time for us here.
Oh yeah, it's no problem.
We'll do it again. Thanks, Dustin.
Yeah, no problem. We'll talk to you guys later.
See you now.
Here we go.
See ya.
Dustin Newgent got 2 wins in that Volvo. That was cool. The car looked good afterwards. It must be it was more going on behind the scenes because it didn't look like it was in too rough a shape in some of the pictures that he had shared. All right, so Hardcore Tour, July the 24th was this weekend. That was the King of the Hill at the Jacktown Fair. Destruction in Dunbar is coming up on the 29th, the 3rd, and the 6th of August. Chaos of Coal Country is the 13th. In Waynesburg, August the 14th, is Washington War Zone. Then we get into the 2-day show. September 4th and 5th is Labor Day Lockdown in Stoneboro. September the 7th is the Route 40 Rumble in West Alexander. And then the Hardcore Championships is the 25th and 26th of September. 10,000 win final confrontation in Dunbar. $3,000 Mad Dog Award. Make sure you can stay up to date with all the happenings with Hardcore Derby Promotions online at hardcorederbypromotions.com. We've got Brian looking so studious over there.
How come you put it on me when you're on the computer, but when I'm trying to answer stuff on here, you bring it back to me?
Because I see you answering stuff over there.
Thanks, Chris. Love you, man.
Championship Hobby Stock qualifier so far as of this weekend. Josh Bernowski is in the Championship Hobby Stock, so with Bill Close, Matt Dennis, Bentley Fensel, Cole Teets, Tanner Harden, Nick Quensler, Nathan McGee, and Brian Yeager. The Championship Compact qualifiers so far: Jeremy Merriman, TJ McCulloch in the 413, Jay Long, Drew Fanzenbacher, Justin Griffin, Jackson Salisbury, Steven Sickles, Hunter Kessoff, Preston Nicholson, Jesse Bates, Adam Merriman, Charlie Webb, Nick Rivetti, Corey Dakin, Ricky Yeager, Justin Yeager, Matt Wingrove, Brandon Cook, and Rich Fanzen-Baker. Matt Wingrove taking a win in the compact side of things over there at the King of the Hill event at the Jacktown Fair. Nathan McGee took the win in the hobby stocks over Brian Yeager. Nick Quensler was third place in that one. And I don't see any further results on the page at this point. Trying to look through real quick. I love how they always do the winners' pictures. Rich Fazenbacker got a Mad Dog Award over there, and then Hobby Stock, Mike McClure getting Mad Dog as well. Some twisted cars over there at the King of the Hill event in Jacktown Fair. And make sure you jump online once again, follow along, hardcorederbypromotions.com.
Kenny Rosno won a show out west too. I can't remember where it was, but I think that's 2 for 2. I think he's won the last two he's ran.
If I remember right, and with the schedule that we've got going this summer, it's been a little bit tough to keep everything as stable as we wanted to. I think one of those wins was the first win that he ever got at his hometown fair.
Yes.
And he'd been trying for a long time to get that.
Yes. That was 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Everything is a blur. Like,
Yes.
I went back and I checked the message that I had traded with a guy just to kind of get an update on Facebook. And I'm like, man, I haven't checked on this in forever. It was 7 days ago.
Yeah.
It felt like forever.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, man, that's, everything is after a year off, just normal Derby season, it seems so fast-paced. Because, think about it. Last summer at this time, we were doing nothing. You know what I mean?
There's something to be said for that, too, with some of the car turnout that some of these fairs are getting. They need to make sure that they capitalize on this and don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
Because some of these cars have been built for a year.
I think there's a lot of fairs that are taking it for granted and thinking they got something going, and they don't. I think we'll find it more as the season goes on as well. Yeah, of course, everybody's going to have a good turnout. Everybody's itching. They're buying any piece of junk they can find just to smash it. And
Chris is drinking right now, in case anybody's wondering.
I don't know if you can hear it or not.
I don't know. I just wish these fairs would, just talk to the drivers. The drivers are the ones bringing the money to these fairs. It's the drivers are the ones that the people come to see. Without the drivers, there is no fair, county fair show, whatever it ends up being. So, it's just, it is what it is.
And then on the flip side, the fairs count on good turnouts, grandstand and pit side, because that's what pays for the fair.
Pays for the whole fair.
Completely off topic. Did you see that? I think it was Mid-State Antique had a big display at the fair this year.
No, I didn't see that. I saw Waterloo Speedway and Maple Grove Speedway's tribute.
Okay, that's what it was. I knew it was one of them. Why are you going to be like that? Did you see the picture of Steve Payne fixing the old Bones 7-Eleven coupe?
I did.
Awesome.
Did you hear what happened?
Yeah, it broke a shock when it was being hauled here from Syracuse.
No. Sunday night.
Oh, no. What happened?
The antique cars, the number 66 and the number 111 that Jim Hellmeyer had there, were racing to the checkered flag at Weedsport when one touched the other.
Oh, yes, I did hear that.
Wrecked him. One of them went over, put on his lid.
Yes. Yeah. And also, did you see the video of Nick Wary's wreck?
I didn't know that he even got on his lid or anything. I hadn't heard anything about that. I saw the pictures, the still shots today.
I was in and out. I didn't go over it. I didn't realize my brother was running. A friend of mine from work said that Nick was in a real bad crash. And the way it sounded is Nick was running his line, and a guy just hit him in the right rear and stuck him in the fence, coming out of 3 wide open. And it side over side, and just I'm thinking they probably can save the motor, transmission, probably. Other than that, it looked junk. I know he went to upstate. They treated him for a concussion, so it was bad. But yeah, they tore some stuff up over there this past weekend.
Well, they're going to do it again this weekend.
Yep.
Demolition Derby action returning. The Enduro is going to be middle of the week. Make sure you jump online for the.
Do you run the Enduro, James?
Nah, I really wanted to. I have a couple of good friends that actually run Enduro cars that race them all the time. And, it's a race, but I don't like going left. I like to just smash stuff. So I'd feel really terrible going out there and hitting somebody that had a lot of money in their car that it wasn't meant to be smashed like that. I mean, Demolition Derby's Demolition Derby. You expect to junk everything when you pull out. Well, you hope not, but you got to expect it's going to happen. But
expect the worst, hope for the best.
You got to remember it was an enduro race that Michaela Benjamin. Marcella. She hurt her back.
Bad, yes. She was lucky. I had right behind the driver's door. That could have been even worse than it was. And I mean, she had a pretty severe back injury, but like I can remember when I was a kid, like when they first, to my recollection, they first started running enduros. Like I remember them having a 300 car enduro at Dundee one night, like all old iron, and they just ran and ran and ran, and it was. They used to have them over to Weed Sport too back in the MacCheyne County Fair back in the day, and they used to draw a lot of cars. But
they used to have that special one. They had a big one at Brewerton here.
Yeah, 200 lapper or something.
Yeah, it had 160 cars or something like that.
Or 100 lapper or something.
And I remember the old school enduros back when the only time you got a red flag is something was really, really on fire.
Yeah.
But then they had the weekly enduros where there was a set lap limit.
Yeah.
Of like 35 laps or something, and they were basically just
street stocks.
4-cylinder class.
Yeah, you're right. But all right, I think we've done well because I'm starting to melt.
Yes, it's pretty warm. We covered a lot. I know there was some other stuff that we want to get to. We'll table that until next week. Appreciate everybody following along with us on Facebook. Hopefully everything played all right for everybody. I know the view count was a little funny, but we had Scott Kiefer was in that. We had a hiccup when we got started. I don't know why. It is whatever it is. But appreciate it. Congratulations out to all the winners. Hopefully everybody that we talked to that's running this weekend does well, stays safe. Thinking of Rick Engelhart today, of course. And also it was really good this weekend at that Maple Grove display. Walt Mitchell came.
Did he?
He was hanging out there for a little while, so that was really good to hear. I didn't get a chance to see him when he was over there, but nonetheless, he was there, and
that's where he started.
It sure is. Yep, we actually corrected the timeline of his racing history.
Really?
This weekend, yeah. Chuck Burnell was there, and he said, actually, according to this picture, this was before it was really cool. I'll tell you about it later.
All right.
This is it, though. We're gonna put a fork in this one. This one is in the books. We appreciate everybody once again. Thanks so much to all of our guests and all of the fairs that are supplying us with the information and everything. We will do it again next time. Thanks a lot.
The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of MacCheyne's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.